Hi, Jeff.
Hey, Meesha.
Welcome back to another episode of the North Atlanta Real Estate Podcast with your amazing host, Meesha.
And Jeff Ahi.
And today we're diving into the hot topic that's been making waves in the news. The White House recently announced a brand new $100,000 fee for companies filing new H-1B visa petitions. And the big question is, well, let's start with what an H-1B is, Jeff.
Yeah, so the H-1B one, it's a visa status, so it allows non-permanent foreign workers to apply, and if they get this status, then they can come into the U.S. It's good for 3 years, and then after that 3-year period, it's renewable for another 3 years. Now, there are caps in place that limit the number of workers, and so right now, there's a cap of 65,000 of the H-1B1 visas, and it is on a lottery system. You have to apply and then get selected. Of those 65,000, however, from one of the free trade agreements we have, Chile gets 1,400, Singapore gets 5,400, so that leaves just under 60,000 for everybody else. A lot of Indian workers use the H-1B1 visa, especially here in the Atlanta area. And then there is another status, a master cap for these H-1B1 visas. So if you have a master's degree or master's level education or higher, there's another 20,000 available positions. And so it's these positions that they're talking about that this new $100,000 fee is going to apply for. And this is going to be only for new applications that started after September 1st of this year. So that was just, a few days ago.
Yes. And I remember back in 2003 when I came to the US, I came on a H-1B as well. So did my husband. And, it took us over 17 years to get our green card and a few more years to get our citizenship. So it was a long walk to citizenship, but it was a hope. It was a possibility. But now with the new H-1s coming in and the ones who've come in the past, a green card looks like a distant dream. So the whole question about real estate is, does it make sense for foreign workers to come into America and buy real estate, or does it make sense to continue renting until their visa expires and they have to go back to their home countries?
Yeah. And so maybe we should talk about, since you bring that up, why don't we talk about how it affects the market already? Because in the areas, and you work with a lot of your clients, have this H-1B1 status, right? And
yes.
So right now, they are allowed to purchase homes with financing. And so talk about, in the new home communities, a lot of them are kind of locating, what geographical area are we finding, generally speaking?
Well, Alpharetta is a tech hub for a lot of foreign workers, and for companies who want to set up shop here. And so Johns Creek, Suwanee, all the surrounding areas definitely have a lot of foreign workers here. That's the reason why we have so much diversity. So the real estate market over here has grown organically, but also in a very systematic way because of the new construction coming in. And a lot of the new home builders like Lennar, Ashton Woods, and now the new entrant, Toll Brothers, were highly favored and highly sought after by people of certain communities. And I think it kind of gave a lot of confidence to home builders to come into this area and start building new houses. And the price ranges used to be 400, but now we've seen all the way to 1.7 million. But what it also means for real estate is, because even though we are tech dense, we're not as highly dense as San Francisco or the Bay Area. So I feel like in the real estate world, we won't see as high an impact on our market as some of the other parts of the country will.
Yeah, because we were talking, with a lender that you use frequently. Tell us about that conversation, because that really applied to what we're talking about now.
So in May 2025, so the lender that I work with, and I've been working with for about 7 years, is Roger Merchant, and he works for National Mortgage, and a shout out to him. He's been wonderful. He's a miracle worker, can make loans go through when you least expect it. So he's like my go-to guy. What he was saying was, back in May 2025, when the FHA rule disallowed H-1B visa holders from getting an FHA loan, impacted the market a little bit. But he said, if Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac follow through and implement some similar rules like that and don't offer loans to foreign workers, especially on an H-1B, that could dramatically impact our market.
Yeah, that would dramatically impact things, I would imagine, because a lot of these folks are getting loans. They're high income, dual earners oftentimes. They're great clients, nicest folks that we deal with when we're door knocking, right? I mean, this is a great community, and it would be a shame to have some rules put in place that kind of put the roadblocks into home ownership for them. And so I think what we could anticipate is if Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac did make similar changes to rules as FHA did, and they well, it was much higher, what are we going to see now? We're going to have a lot of people. Demand is going to drop for homes, especially in South Forsyth, I suspect. Right? That's a high concentration right there of the prefer newer home construction typically.
Yes.
These communities, and that's where you find most of that product.
And a news article came out, I want to say day before yesterday, that said that Lennar has said that it wants to slow down new construction to meet the lowered demand. And I don't know if it's coincidental, but I feel like a lot of home builders may reevaluate what areas they're going to be building in, at what price point, and who they want to target. But since we are talking about the H-1B visa holders, and a lot of H-1B visa holders have bought houses or are currently in the market to buy or are probably thinking of investing with some friends, we're going to kind of break it down and kind of analyze how it would impact them. So if you're a H-1B visa holder who's thinking or toying with the idea of possibly selling your house, you just have to be sure that you price it accordingly and the house is in good condition and is marketed at the right time, because seasonality definitely helps in our market.
Yeah, and certainly if anybody is of the mindset that they want to sell their home and their visa is going to be ending and they're not going to be extending it or trying to get green card status, which is actually what typical people do, is if you go through your free H-1B visa for 3 years, then you get your renewal for 3 years. Then the next path for staying here largely is getting employer sponsorship for your green card, I guess, correct?
Mm-hmm. And we just listed a house in Settles Walk for a family that was on an H-1B visa. And, we understand the sensitivities involved and what they are looking for. So if you're thinking of possibly putting your house on the market or just understanding the, what it entails, reach out to Jeff or me, and we'd be happy to work through the process with you. Now, the second approach would be for buyers. Now, if you're on an H-1B and you already have a house under contract, or you're thinking of buying a house, I would not be worried. I would still go ahead and continue with those plans.
Yeah, because right now there are no roadblocks. There's been no changes to the rules. There's no reason why you couldn't go ahead with your purchase.
Yes, and there is a lot of uncertainty whether this particular move will even be implemented or even survive the legal and political challenges.
Yes, as we've seen with a number of things with this administration in the past 6 months, a lot of things are said and then walked back in changes. The tariffs have been all over the map. A lot of uncertainty, and it's a lot of this uncertainty that creates the problem in our housing market. Mm-hmm. I mean, frankly, the tariff talk was what dramatically impacted us for 3 months. It kind of shook things up, and it's only starting to settle down a little bit now. So uncertainty is never good for any business decision, and it certainly applies for large purchases such as a home purchase.
Yes, and we'll be watching these policy shifts very closely. And if there are any questions anybody has, reach out to us. And did you have any final words, Jeff?
No, I think the main thing to point out to our listeners is that Meesha is an expert in this area, and she and Roger he was the loan officer that she spoke of. They can really help you walk through just a scenario. You don't just tell people, hey, you got to buy a house. You will help them understand if it makes sense for them to buy a house, and you then show them what it all means, and he can help with, here's what the financing looks like, here's what your payment would be, so they can compare rent versus own. And you really are great at, I think, walking through all the options that people have. So I would just give you a shout out, Meesha. If somebody is listening to this and they want to answer these questions, I just reach out to Meesha. She'll take good care of you.
Thank you, Jeff. And likewise, if you're looking for a listing agent who you are going to be confident will work 110% for you, reach out to Jeff. And our numbers are in our description. But if you want to email us, my email ID is meesharawal@gmail.com, and Jeff is at
jeff@alphahomes.com.
That was a wrap, Jeff. Thank you so much for an amazing episode. Till our next episode, see you soon.
Sounds good. Bye, everyone.